device. We agreed on how the measurement
Hello,
device was made.
hello. Welcome to my channel. Serious, you're not in the
Hi,
middle.
everybody.
You're not centered.
You're right.
late
I'm
and
not in the
off-center.
center. I'm on the left. Go fucking figure.
You are on the left. Ah, almost like that was on
Not
purpose. Oh, you know what? I know why you're the wrong size. Because I didn't go into full screen mode. There we go.
I fixed Halo. I had to reinstall the entire fucking thing, but I fixed it.
Yeah, I actually kind of guessed that. You know how I get annoyed at the knowledge that what game I'm playing might be popping up on someone else's computer? I saw your Halo pop up several times. Like, Circe is playing Halo. I'm like, he's doing tech support.
He's like, no, you're right. I wasn't playing Halo. I was desperately trying to play Halo. I was trying to get to the point where I could.
Thanks for the hat, Fennec. Yeah, so you did not watch the Artemis launch today, did you?
No, I did not.
Yeah, so I messaged Cirrus at like 5:30 being like, hey, do you want to like watch the rocket launch that's happening in less than an hour and we can like do an early stream? And Cirrus was like, no, I got too much other work to do. And then I was like, yeah, me too, but I would have like rushed through all of my work to have it done in time for that.
You know the meme where there's a person who is very, very introverted, and they get the message that their friends are canceling on them, and their eyes light up, their fridge opens up, the snacks come out, and they go right to the couch, and their day has improved significantly. That was you.
Yeah, except I was the one that did the invite.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it works the other way around. The introvert goes, hey, does everybody want to come over to my place? Pushing fingers together. Everybody says no. Fuck yeah, World of Warcraft night.
Yeah, I am not going to pretend like that doesn't happen sometimes. But yeah, no, the launch was actually pretty great. We were watching it on one of the Canadian channels, so they were like highlighting, because there's a Canadian on the ship. And so
You're Canadian?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's actually why I chose this hat. It's the Rocket Center hat with 4 astronauts. So there are 4 astronauts on the ship that went up today. So it's apropos.
Apropos of nothing.
It was actually kind of funny though, because like as they're trying to make small talk, well, like in the last 20 minutes before the launch happens. So it's like there's nothing to look at visually. So it's like we need to talk about something. So they started talking about Canada's contribution to the space program, and one of the people at one point said something offhand about Canada was the first country to launch a satellite into space, into orbit. And I was just like, what? No, that can't be right. Sputnik, right? So after some mild Googling, she left off the qualifier. Canada was the first country to launch a satellite into space after the USSR and the United States.
That doesn't make them the first. That makes them the third.
That would be the third, yes.
That's the fucking dude who's got the bottle of champagne.
We were the first after the 2 that you think of first.
The guy's got the bottle of champagne. They're celebrating. They're making fun of everybody. They're biting their medal. And then you notice that it's not really a gold medal. It's a bronze medal. And they're actually in the 3rd place spot. Y'all are that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a cool launch. It was nice to see. I like watching the stages separate. That's fun.
Please tell me that during the topics today, we're not going to be covering Hemet Meta covering the Jaden Ivey situation, because I don't want to listen to that man speak again. Not Hemet Meta, but Jaden Ivey.
I don't know who Jaden Ivey is.
He was the guy who couldn't get to the fucking point in the video that I was listening to.
No, we're not doing that. When do I ever do anything sports related?
Because he got fired from the Chicago Bulls for being a bigot against LGBTQ people.
Okay.
And Hemet Meta.
I mean, I guess there is precedent for that.
And it wouldn't be the first time that you've ate Hemet Meta's articles.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking back to Travis Kelce. Was it Travis Kelce, or is he the Taylor Swift boyfriend? There was some football guy that was like doing tradcath bullshit that we covered.
I don't remember.
Okay. Butker. Harrison Butker. That was his name. Anyway. No.
Sounds like a joke name.
He's kind of a joke person, so yeah. It was the friend of Taylor Swift's boy. Oh, what? They're friends? I thought they were teammates, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're friends.
And they were roommates.
Yes, roommates with benefits. Okay, no, but we do have a lot of news to cover. It was a busy week. I skipped a lot of news stories that I kind of wanted to cover. So like there was a part of me that was like, if we start streaming at 6 o'clock, we do the watch party, we watch the launch and like until it's been in the air for like 10 minutes or whatever, and then we go straight into the news segments. Then there would be enough time to cover all the stuff, and we'd still finish at 11:30. But as I was typing that out to you, I was just like, he probably has his own job to do.
So, as you sent me that message, I was just finishing editing my Magic the Gathering content for the day and transitioning into doing live stream stuff. Also, fun fact, apparently it takes more resources for my OBS to use my Magic the Gathering assets than it does for my mainstream assets, despite the fact that my mainstream uses more assets. I guess they're just the stuff that Stoff made me, I guess, is just high enough resolution that it eats up more memory.
Stuff's
So
just that good.
my
Or
OBS
that big.
crashes every 5 to 6 minutes when I'm doing Magic the Gathering content.
Well, I mean, if it's just images, have you considered exporting lower resolution ones just for the stream?
I think I'm gonna have to, because it's not the end of the world for me to have more cuts, but like when I say something that's perfect for a segment and I don't have to cut anything, I like not having to cut it, not knowing that it's gonna have to be start and stop multiple times. See, I probably am gonna have to do some exports of those that are at lower resolution just to fix that. But one of the side effects of that is I technically have a 4 monitor setup. I have my stream in the middle monitor. I have information I want to pull up for things on monitor on the right. Monitor on the left is whatever I'm looking at. That's what stream sees. And then I've got a monitor where I put my files, and that is the fourth monitor that's under everything. So like when I record something and I need to put it in the drive for the editor so I don't forget it later on in the day, it just goes in there as I'm live, and that's all that bottom screen. When I'm doing Magic the Gathering content, because my video card apparently shits the bed while running Stops assets, I can't have the fourth monitor plugged in because then OBS just stops. It just ceases existing.
What graphics card do you use?
I have a 4070.
Okay.
Theoretically, it should be beefy enough for everything, but I think it's probably a
I feel-
combination of video card and the 32 gigs of RAM that I have being borderline maxed out.
What are you doing? That's
Stops.
maxing out 32 gigs of RAM.
Stoff says, "I'm sorry I made them so high res." Don't be sorry that you did good work. It's on me to get them sized correctly to unfuck my machine. As for what I'm doing, so if I'm preparing for a stream later, I'll usually have all the tabs
Jessa.
for what I'm going to be covering on the stream later, and I don't want to set them up again once I've already got them organized in where they need to be.
This is fucking Chrome.
So like for today, I had I think 28 tabs because so many of the things that I wanted to cover had like I had to keep going back to your research document for stuff because it was a lot of anti-trans shit. Or it would be like, here's 8 things from Twitter where people are saying dumb shit, and I need what they're saying to illuminate my point. And just like all of those tabs are like, nope, I set this all up. I am not setting it up again. I will eat fucking poo on my graphics card and my RAM just to get through this. But like right now, I am at 64% memory usage with no games open, no nothing. And most of that is being taken up by OBS and Google Chrome.
Yeah, that'll do it. What am I at? I am sitting at, I guess 47% memory usage.
You're doing better than me. I want to go up to 64%.
Well,
Or
I
64
use
gigs of RAM.
I use Firefox for my tabs, so
Mhm.
I think Firefox is a little better with system memory efficiency than Chrome.
It might be. I was using Opera, but then Opera started doing a whole bunch of dumb shit like firing thousands of their employees. that I just was like, nah, not using Opera anymore.
Opera is also a Chrome-based browser, isn't it?
It is Chromium, but that's not the same thing as being a Chrome-based
Same thing as
browser.
far as everybody who doesn't know how to program things is concerned.
I mean, technically, yes, but that by that same logic, there's a lot of things that are all just Google Chrome, but they're not.
Yeah, no, there are, and they are. We gonna fight again?
Hmm.
All
Yep.
browsers are Chrome except for Firefox.
Okay.
It's
Does
not. It's not
Netscape
as much
still
fun when you
exist?
don't care. Um, I think that I, I, I don't actually know. Netscape Navigator, and apparently I had my caps
So
lock on, so I'm very angry about that.
Safari is not Chrome.
Sure.
Safari isn't. Well,
Apparently you can use Netscape Navigator 9 in 2023, but that is a YouTube video that is framed like a challenge sort of video, so I'm guessing no.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so apparently, yeah, it's Firefox and Safari are like the two big ones, and there's other ones as well, but like those are the two main ones.
So Mark Fernkoff for $5 says, my girlfriend, the gorgeous goddess Candy Black, wants me to emphasize that she and Rhino and Cirrus were very correct about Hazbin Hotel. Watch season 1 on Sunday, Monday night.
Fantastic
we've
show.
we've said many different things about it. I liked season 1. Season 2, not so hot on.
I liked both seasons. I agree that season one is better than season two, but season two gave me enough moments that I was excited for that I was
I
very
fucking
happy about
hated
that.
the ending.
You hated the
I
ending?
was just rolling my like, no. I'm not going to give spoilers
I mean,
because apparently you're just on season 1. But
I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending is very Power of Friendshipy. Um, but I'm all here for that shit, so
they
I'm
turn
okay
into
for that.
the Care Bears.
Power of Friendship wins the day. Don't give a shit. I adore that shit.
There's too much setup that didn't pay off. Like loot.
I
What was the purpose of building up loot that whole time as being this
It's
rebellious force, and then like, oh no, she just doesn't do anything.
it's the same thing that happened in season two with season one with Vox. Vox was built up to be the villain of season two. Loot's being built up to be the villain of season three. But my treat stream just got here, so I'm gonna have to disappear for 2 seconds.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to the news yet. You're already dipping out of the stream.
Yep, absolutely.
Honestly, I would enjoy the Care Bears if they had more black leather. Sure, why not? I assume it's set up for season 3. I don't know that I'm gonna watch season 3. Season 2 was just I didn't like it. It didn't. There weren't enough of the positive good moments. And honestly, I feel like season 2 retroactively made season 1 worse because now you can see there's some consistency in some of the problem, like some of the minor things that bothered me a little bit about season 1 but I could ignore are now expanded upon in season 2. And I don't know how to talk about it without really giving spoilers, so I'm not going to. And I'm not going to reiterate it when Cirrus gets back because I don't feel like arguing about it. I'm just giving my opinion because I'm a YouTuber. That's what I do. I actually have to. I had to. One of my kids. So anytime the kids have a science related question and they ask Heidi, she'll be like, "Oh, well, that's a Papa question." So she will punt that over to me, and because of this interaction, her two kids have decided that what I do for a living is I am a scientist, and so I have to keep on telling them that no, I'm not a scientist. I am a science enthusiast. I am just a YouTuber. I can just make a video saying whatever I want, and it doesn't have to be true, and I can just post that video. That's also like I'm trying to teach them that, you know, yeah, this YouTuber that you're watching, you do kind of like them. That doesn't mean that they're right about everything that they say. They're just a guy with a camera. Maybe not even a camera sometimes. Rovi wants me to play this when Cirrus gets back. Well, I don't know, Rovi. Is it safe for stream? I don't know that I want to play that, Rovi. I don't know that I want to play that. Nope, wrong button. Where'd you go? There you are. Oh, is it from Sonic? It's a Sonic thing. Am I going to get hit with copyright if I play that, Rovi? Yeah, you say it's safe, but it's... The title is fucking like Amy Got Creamed or something. Okay. Cirrus is gone for a long time. Is he eating off stream? He's not bringing the pizza back to the stream like normal? Making me come in and check on you, Care Bear Stare. Are innuendos not safe? No, innuendos are safe. It's just... the first frame of it was also like boobs. You back, Cirrus? Oh, wait.
I have returned with Chipotle.
There we go. So Rovi sent me a thing.
Roe v. Wade?
No. Rovi Learn.
Is it a thing to play? Because I was like, nope, I can't play your thing on my stream.
It is the thing. The title is Amy Gets Creamed. They assure me that I'm not going to get demonetized if I play it or copyright claimed.
Dellinger Finger said Sonic NSFW, maybe? That sounds like what it is.
Yeah, no, that's... So I guess I'll play it.
Huh?
Oh, this is from the MASH series.
Okay. How, like, what?
Okay, so, are you familiar with the channel Mashed?
No.
So, they used to be
what the M in the corner is?
Yes. So they used to be a shitty top 10 channel, and then when the trend of top 10s died, they started becoming a fan animation channel where they will make alternate universes, or they'll just make stories basically, and then they'll grab recognizable video game characters to fit in the slots of the stories. 9 times out of 10, the characters are not in character at all, and it's quite literally just they made a fanfic and they wanted to have those characters playing the parts. So, like, in this one, that Amy killed her universe's Sonic because she didn't find her pretty enough or some shit.
Yeah. Big mean bullies.
Don't be like that, Queen Kate. Squishy, squishy.
I don't know what I'm watching.
It's just fanfic.
Curious, curious.
Do I have to watch this whole thing?
According to Ravi, we have to.
Friends, you took my chow away from me. I'm going to make you pay! What are you gonna do? Shoot us to death? Something like that.
That's it?
Like, it...
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you saw the thumbnail.
If you're...
Yeah.
Every electric car.
Hi.
Every
No,
single...
not you.
So, like, if you're not a Sonic fan, then it makes no sense. And if you haven't seen the context from the MASH series, it will make even less sense.
Okay.
Because it's not in line with any canon from any game at all.
Okay. Well, at least we had surprise technology connections at the end.
Yeah, that happened.
That's
Rocky Bree says, let's watch Technology Connections instead of Sonic. Look, I don't think the MASH series is
I agree
bad.
I agree with that assessment, though.
Look, I don't think the MASH Sonic series there is bad. I just think it's fanfic. It's just fanfic at the end of the day. If you like fanfic, it's cool.
Okay. Yeah, let's get into the news. It's been a while. We should probably actually do the news. So
We should probably actually do the news. You're right.
So the Supreme Court says that torturing kids is okay. It's protected by free speech.
So I have seen some sensationalism about this
Yeah,
one
it's
a little
not.
bit.
That's not an entirely accurate framing.
Yeah, because
There.
what happened is the Colorado court has argued, or the Supreme Court has argued in Colorado that talk therapy is a viable form of therapy still for people who want to pursue conversion therapy. That's what they argued. Now, granted, yes, the end result of that is abuse for LGBTQ kids because that's what talk therapy is. It's somebody saying, "You're not gay, actually. You should love your body, actually." It's things that sound reasonable on the surface, but are actually somebody trying to effectively groom a kid into not being themselves. Like that's what it is. So, in effect, yes, it is abuse. But also, there's a lot of sensationalism going around about this particular case all over the internet.
Okay. So the sensationalism that I would jump on is that they haven't overturned that particular ban. They have just sent it back down to the lower court so that they can adjudicate whether or not this is a First Amendment issue, or properly adjudicate that. So it's not like bans on conversion therapy are now illegal in this all across the states. Like that was what I first thought when I saw the headlines. That is not what happened here. There's a non-zero chance that it comes back after they said, yeah, no, it is a First Amendment issue, and then it does become that. But that has not happened yet.
Yeah, this doesn't mean that some major change has happened right now. It
However,
means that there's an ongoing fight.
I would like to push back against your... I don't know if you were just doing devil's advocate there by saying, like, because it's talk therapy, then it is freedom of speech sort of thing. Because there's a difference between I am expressing my thoughts and opinions or whatever, and I am providing medical care.
No, right. So that's why I said if you remember what I said specifically, I said, in effect, this is abuse.
Yes.
Because what happens is this. The way it's being sensationalized in a lot of outlets is like the Supreme Court just said that conversion therapy is good and it should be what's being pursued. There's a lot of weird ways this has been framed. I agree that there's a difference between a person's freedom of speech and how far that should be allowed to go, and then what can be used and construed as medical advice. And when you are the therapist in this position, most everything you say is going to be a form of medical advice, and there should be restrictions.
Therapy has a standard of care. And conversion therapy is very much against that. So it's like, if you offer conversion therapy, you should not be allowed to offer therapy.
Right. I agree.
It'd be like,
that.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you at this point.
Okay.
But like that would be like if a doctor refuses to, administer normal childhood vaccines unless they first amputate the child's left arm.
Yeah, that
like,
would be...
This is in the same lines. Like, I express myself by amputating children's arms. Like, that is very obviously not free speech, but it's effectively the same thing when it comes to, like, a medical care scenario, which that is what therapy is. It's, like, just because it's called talk therapy doesn't mean it's just me talking.
Yeah,
and like
I understand. And the reason I said the talk therapy thing is that that's what
the
it's
reason they're saying the talk therapy. Cirrus, I'm not arguing with you.
Okay.
I'm arguing the same point as you.
But I want to fight you.
Well, then, all FPSs are the same. There.
Oh, God, we're back to that again.
No, we're not. We're not doing that again. Yeah, no, but like... I have a little bit of experience with this. I should mention this was sent to me by everybody. So Progress Only sent it to me. First time sender Laura sent it to me. My anonymous source sent it to me, and that was all after I decided to cover it on my own as well. So everybody wants to talk about this because it's heinous. But yeah, no, my partner is a therapist, and it's like, to say that therapy is not... Like, it's just, it's covered by freedom of expression. You can say anything in there. She has to be so careful about what she says because it is medical. Like, there are things she's not allowed to say to the clients. There's things like, she is really good at picking out when people are not neurotypical, when they're autistic or ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
She got into some minor trouble fairly early on in her career as a therapist because she had suggested to one of her clients that they had ADHD or autism, I forget which. And then they disagreed with that, and their doctor told them something else or whatever. I don't know the details. I'm not privy to the details. But like even just suggesting to someone who has not brought it up themselves that they may have autism or ADHD could potentially be license revoking for her.
Correct.
Because it's
in this
medical
case, we're
stuff.
talking about, in this case, also the specifics on this. I think getting into the specifics on this would also help people who might not know what exactly is being talked about. Because even just from the title, it doesn't exactly explain everything. But Kaylee Childs, who is a therapist in Colorado, who's a Christian talk therapist, is what she said, says the state ban violates her First Amendment rights. When that shouldn't be the case. Your First Amendment doesn't allow you to harm people.
Well, Shannon Q has a nice video on her channel, which, assuming it's still up, she hasn't been active as a YouTuber for a little while, but she has a video on
She's been posting
Christian...
a little more recently, I noticed.
Has she?
There's like 2 videos now. There was a gap for like 3 years. Now there's like 2 videos.
YouTube has decided that I don't want to see her stuff because I haven't watched it in a long time. It doesn't matter that I clicked the subscribe button. But yeah, no, there's a video from a few years ago where she went into like what it takes to become a Christian counselor and how there are blurred lines between Christian therapy and Christian counseling, and like you can be a Christian therapist and call yourself a therapist without actually being qualified as a therapist. So like I could see this being like one of those little weird niche scenarios where like this person is allowed to call themselves a therapist but isn't technically a therapist, so this doesn't count as medical care. It does just count as them having a chat with someone, in which case, yeah, if you're just having a chat with someone, it would be a violation of your First Amendment rights to not be allowed to say, hey, I don't think you're gay.
So the specifics on this is that there's a blurred line between speech and conduct, and the argument that she is putting forward is that what she is saying is speech, not conduct. She should be restricted based on conduct specifically, and that this is a speech regulation specifically, and therefore there's a difference.
Well, when you're doing talk therapy, the talk is the conduct.
Correct. So this is where you and I agree that the actual meat of the matter is that regardless of what she thinks, the things she says are supposed to have medical weight, because therapy is a thing. Like, for instance, Saki, she's able to go through therapy. That is something that is actually covered under our insurance, so she actually has a therapist now. The reason that's covered under insurance is because therapy is considered medical. Your brain is as much of a piece of your body as everything else in your body. So when she's trying to say, like, this is a violation of my speech, it's not. But again, the argument is not that the Supreme Court said that conversion therapy good, actually. The argument is there's going to be a very long fight now about this shit.
They have to determine whether or not medical care counts as medical care. Like,
we are such a
do our
second
medical
world
practitioners have to adhere to the standard of care, or can they torture their patients and call it freedom of speech? That's a really tough question.
The argument she's trying to say is, like, because of today's ruling, families will have more options and states won't be able to shut those options down. But the thing is, if the options are, like you said,
provide medical care or torture my child.
Yeah, that is effectively what the options are.
One of those options shouldn't be on the table.
Yeah. One of those things is medically irresponsible to have on the table. And if you are allowed to have it on the table, then it lends legitimacy to that. There is a lot of problems with this. All agreed.
Yeah. Popping in, I hoped this ruling was an April Fool's joke. Nope, it wasn't.
Nope.
Although Trump sat in for the oral arguments for the what was the case on the 14th Amendment thing. Apparently, he stormed out when the judges were all like being a bit more critical of the arguments on the government side than Trump would like. So we're not covering that, but we do have one of the tweets has a quote from the lawyer for Trump. Not for Trump. Well, I mean, it is effectively for Trump, but the government's lawyer.
What's confusing to me is that only Jackson was the dissenting opinion.
Yeah.
On this.
Yeah.
I don't understand
that was disappointing. And you know what? When I first read it, I read it in the reverse, where like I read it as the Supreme Court is ruling against conversion therapy. And then when I saw that Ketanji Brown Jackson was the lone dissenter, I was like, what? Like Alito and Gorsuch and Roberts were all in favor of banning conversion therapy, but Jackson wasn't? And then I read it properly and was like, oh, that still doesn't make any sense, but at least it's not as out of whack as I thought.
So Old Gus in my chat is pointing out that freedom of speech doesn't apply to a lot of functional speech. As an example, a lawyer in court and public interpreters on the job don't actually have freedom of speech the same way that you or I do on a fucking podcast. If you're in the military, especially if you're high ranking in the military, your freedom of speech is in fact limited. If you are working in any governmental job, your freedom of speech does get limited. There are certain positions...
Oh, wait, no. That was right. I was about to bring up Kim Davis because I know she was headed for the Supreme Court, but they refused to hear her case. So like,
wah, wah. There 100% is a line that ought not be crossed where speech is concerned, and where that line sits does depend on your occupation. So
just don't use the yelling fire in a crowded theater example, because everybody gets that one wrong, and I forget how to get it right.
So
I'm not a lawyer, but if you need a lawyer,
hey, you did the legal thing before I did today.
Someone had to do it.
Someone did have to do it. You're right. So yeah, the fact that conversion therapy actually is causally linked with higher rates of suicide is probably a good fucking reason not to allow it. But if this does go through, it does kind of open the gate for some other shit. Like if this ultimately, instead of being passed up and down through the courts, if this ultimately does end in her favor, and this is considered perfectly fine, there's a point that Axo brought up, and that's that there is a way this could be twisted against them. And that is that now...
All of those bans for being trans in public?
Not just that. If we're talking about conversion therapy, oftentimes we're talking about kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we are allowed to say harmful things to kids in therapy, and that is just considered protected by freedom of speech if this all goes through. If that is the case, things that conservatives consider harmful to kids, like trans healthcare, suddenly become protected by the First Amendment with this, which is a wild way this could twist against them. I would prefer it not have to go that way. I'd prefer everything...
I'd prefer 0 children be tortured.
I would prefer everything go through the scrutiny of the experts in the fields of which they pertain to.
Yes.
That's what I want. What confuses me is that the Supreme Court doesn't have to consult any of those fucking experts.
Yeah, but I have no faith that this court is going to be consistent enough to actually apply it equally in both scenarios.
No, I don't either.
Now, if it is delayed long enough that Republicans are no longer in office and a couple of the Republican Supreme Court people have died, which they're not young, a lot of them. There's a couple in their 70s, late 70s. So if they pull
they could trip and fall.
Yeah, but like not till after Republicans are out of office.
Mm-hmm.
And then if Democrats have all three branches of government, then in theory we could get an actual functioning court again.
In theory.
Yeah.
But for now, we have to still be traumatized by the words in a 6-3 opinion.
Yep. Okay, moving on. So let's talk about the person who won Trump's district and flipped it blue. So
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about that.
yeah, so she was interviewed by Jen Psaki on MS Now, and it was kind of funny because Jen, being Biden's former press secretary, was very interested in the anti-Trump angle. And the person, what's her name? Emily Gregory. When she was answering the questions, she was very much like, yeah, no, I don't care about the Trump thing. I just want to do what's best for my constituents.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, where did that go in American politics?
It went to the Democratic Party, Lively. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it became part of the Democratic Party's ability to go high when they go low, and it's one of the few good aspects about that mentality.
Well, I mean, until you get to Chuck Schumer, who is completely ignoring what his constituents want in favor of what AIPAC wants.
Don't remind me. Anyway, there is a open secrets page about every single politician who has AIPAC funding.
Yes, there is. There is.
But I just have to start tonight with that unbelievably delicious rebuke of Donald Trump in his literal backyard. Yeah. I mean, yes, today was Election Day in Florida's 87th state House district, which includes, as I was just talking with Chris about, Mar-a-Lago. And just to give you a sense of how this district has voted in the past, because there was no way that this was going to sail into a blue seat. A Republican candidate won there by 19 points in 2024. And Trump himself...
Okay, so she just talks about how much she won by.
Which is extra flip, is kind of Trump's second term being flipped. Like,
there we go.
All 29 of them, all of them, this one sure does hit a little different, though, doesn't it? Joining me now, fresh off her unbelievable victory tonight, is Emily Gregory. Well, first of all, congratulations. I mean, I don't think I can repeat for viewers who are tuning into this enough. I mean, Trump won this district by 11 points in the last election. The Republican who formerly held the seat before he resigned, Mike Caruso, previously won it by 19 points. You've just flipped the seat tonight. How are you feeling?
Jen, it's a pretty wild night. When I started this 9 months ago, I obviously thought it was possible. I think most people thought I was insane looking at the numbers.
So let that be a lesson to anyone who's in a position where they might be able to run for someone. Even if it looks hopeless, try.
Yeah, leaving. There's a reason why. I think it's actually this set of years. The Democratic Party is trying to run a new style of group campaigns, which is to not leave any seat unopposed. There's actually funding that correct me if I'm wrong on this, but this is conversations that have been had with the local Democratic Party when I was trying to be to more meetings than I've managed to get to successfully in recent months. But if they can make sure that no seat is opposed or no seat is unopposed, then the Democratic Party will actually provide more funding to that district's races insofar as they have the power to. And it's just an incentive to try to get more people to oppose seats that historically don't get opposed that much, especially at a local level, because those are the ones that typically stay with the people who've held them for fuck ever.
Yeah.
But I'm still like pretty shocked. We did it. We just did it.
What do you think about, there's so much to ask you about, but what do you think about the fact that Donald Trump is now one of your constituents?
I mean, I don't think all of that much about it, right? He's one of 115,000 registered voters in District 87. My opponent made, him forefront in his campaign, and I focused more on the voters in District 87. You know, what,
Can I
like
just
that.
interject and say, because this is something that I see in Georgia a lot. The guy who's running against Sean Harris, I can't remember his fucking name for the life of me. But the guy who's running against Sean in Marjorie Taylor Greene's stead in the district right now, all of his signs, every fucking one of them, say Donald Trump picked, Donald Trump approved. The fucking obsession in the Republican Party about Daddy Trump approving you it's so agitating. It is so agitating, the cult of personality bullshit.
Yeah, that it is. Jas is asking, is he a registered voter? I assume he is Trump. Yes, he voted by mail. So did his wife, so did his kid.
You know that thing that's supposed to be a no-no.
Yeah, it's cheating,
bad. Don't
according
do
to
it.
him.
Hmm?
According to Trump, voting by mail is cheating. So naturally, he voted by mail because he's a fucking cheater. Speaking of, I'm sure you know this, because I know when I heard about it recently, it was one of those like, oh yeah, that's right moments. So like, I'm sure you have it as well. But did you know that Trump's dad's middle name was literally Christ?
No, I did not.
You did not? His name was Fred Christ Trump.
Isn't that blasphemy?
Well, apparently it's Trump's grandmother's maiden name was Christ, which I don't know how you end up with a family name of Christ. But yeah, no, his middle name was Christ because he took on his mother's maiden name as his middle name, I guess. And yeah. Also,
again, that just feels like that's blasphemy.
And when you hear about Trump, like every now and then you'll hear him talk about how like, yeah, he knows what it's like to be a working man because like, you know, when he was a kid, he had to have a paper route sort of thing. But when you actually get into the details of him having a paper route, his dad let him do the paper route from the back seat of the family limo. So it's like, not quite the pulling yourself up by your bootstrap story that you're wanting everybody to think it is.
Yeah, that's more bullshit than anything at that
Oh my
point.
god, Jassis says I knew a guy named Craig Christ in undergrad. Craig is the perfect name for someone with the last name Christ. That's
Man,
brilliant.
now you're
I'm the
reminding
Lord
me
and
of,
Savior, Craig Christ.
Now you're reminding me of the really yelly apologist that used to bring all the atheists onto his channel, Craig Reed.
I don't remember Craig Reed.
Yeah, old stuff, but
Yeah, okay. But yeah, apparently, so there's been 29 legislative seats that have flipped blue since Trump began his second term, and Republicans have flipped 0.
I mean, that pendulum does tend to swing whenever you have an unpopular president in the White House.
It does.
It's not an uncommon thing for us to be
Yeah, but let's
right
just,
where we are.
Let's hope that the Democrats actually learn the appropriate lesson from this and not the lesson that they always learn. Let's hope this time is different.
I always, as an abused spouse, hope this
Yeah,
time is different.
That is also what I was thinking of there. Thank you for the super chat, Olivia. Small precision. He was allowed to do it from the car when it rained. Yes, I know, but that's still like you did your paper route from the limo.
Yeah, we said the same thing, but with certain omitted details that don't really matter.
Yeah, like only when it rained. Okay, I had a paper route. I did it from my bike when it rained. Like, that's very different.
You're saying you don't have a family limo to do your paper route from?
Nope.
You fucking plebeian! What is wrong with you?
Sorry.
How dare you? How dare you insult this family with your plebeian takes and your insufficient money to have a limo to do your job from?
Go to patreon.com/ViceRhino so you can fund my limo. None of my kids have a paper route. Maybe it's because I don't have a limo.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all need to buy me a limo so my kids can learn the value of a hard day's work and the back of the limo doing the paper route. Oh,
You need to learn the value of $1.
Oh, yes. Okay. Moving on. This was sent to me by my anonymous source and by E.T. Benson. Iran-linked hackers breach FBI director's personal email, publish photos and documents. So that's Kash Patel has been hacked by the Iranians. And
man, I don't want to be the asshole that just says good when shit like that happens, but like at the same time, I really just want to go good.
I just want to be like, but his emails though.
What about the buttery mails?
Like they made such a big deal over fucking not even an actual. I mean, there was the Podesta thing, but like as far as Hillary and her private server goes, like there wasn't even an actual hack. It was just there is a potential for a hack here, and that was enough to like he's still been saying it recently. So like for a decade, he's been on her emails because they were on a private server, and there might be a potential for hacking there. How many people have been hacked in his administration so far? Like, did we all forget about the Signal Chat thing? Where they accidentally invited a journalist into the war plan Signal Chat?
But her emails.
Yeah.
No, her emails, Ryan, you don't understand. You don't understand. You don't get it. You're not a real patriot who loves America.
You're
That's
right.
the problem.
I'm not. I really.
Why are you not a real American patriot? What is wrong with you?
Well, I wasn't born in America, but apparently
I
that
bet
doesn't
you
matter
say
anyway.
dumb shit like Donald Trump's not my president too, don't
He's
you? You fucking lib.
He's not my president. It's so nice that he's actually not my president.
For every problem you might have in Canadian land, Trump ain't one.
Jas is bringing up, weren't there 2 Signal incidents? Yes, I was just bringing up the worst of the 2. There have been so many hacks. It's the flood the zone thing. There are so many scandals that we can't keep track of the scandals.
And if you're unfamiliar with the flood the zone thing, that's Steve Bannon's political strategy.
Yeah. It's like just make everybody tired of the news cycle. We're just tired of hearing about all Trump scandals. So you forget about the one that happened yesterday.
There's so much shit going on all the time, and you can't stop it. Yeah, and that's the exact feeling you should be having if Steve Bannon and Trump are to win.
Yeah, like I'm like legitimately, there was one of the news items from last week or the week before that I remember thinking, this is one of those things that I should remember. Like, this is such a big deal, but I'm not going to remember it by the next stream. And I don't remember which one it was. I remember thinking that. And I remember thinking, like, maybe me thinking this about this will help me remember it. But I don't fucking know what it is.
Isn't that always how it works?
Yeah.
It means it's working. It's too much shit.
Yeah, they're flooding the zone. So
I was making it a point for a while not to be on Twitter because it wasn't really good for my health. I know it's the exact same story you had, but it's true. Like, it's just not a good place for your mental health. But I popped on Twitter recently just to like gather stuff to talk about on stream, and I realize why I've been struggling to find stuff to talk about. I haven't been on Twitter. I haven't been on the one place the Republicans won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you haven't been fighting with everybody about it.
I'm still gonna make it a point not to fight with everybody about it. I don't gain anything by doing that, but I do gain something by making fun of them on my channel.
So on Blue Sky, I tend to look at the Discover feed rather than the only following feed, because I do, like, because Blue Sky is significantly more wholesome than Twitter. Like, yeah, it's not the utopia that some people have made it out to be.
No,
it
it's not.
Have its issues, but like
it's
because it's generally like it's more like what Twitter was before Elon took it over, and even like maybe a year or two before that.
Kind of, sort of. I'd say it's. I know that the best way to take it is it is somewhere between old Twitter and a hug box.
Yeah. Anyway, my point is I'm on the Discover feed because I do like finding new things. But for some reason, their algorithm has decided that most of what I want to see are either pictures of waterfalls, which that's fine. I like waterfalls. And people announcing that their pet has just died.
I I don't know why I would want to see that all the time.
I don't know,
feel
but
like
that is almost the entirety of my Discover feed, is just nice waterfalls, dead pets.
I hate that.
Yeah, and like I know why it thinks the waterfall thing, because I saw one that was just on its own, and I replied to that one with my own picture of a waterfall. And ever
now
since then,
you
it's
like
been
waterfalls.
waterfalls everywhere, and I'm like, yeah, that's neat. I like waterfalls. No, it wasn't actually because of Niagara. It was because of a waterfall up in the Bruce Peninsula somewhere. I forget what it's called. Inglis Falls, maybe? Yeah, I think it's Inglis Falls. Someone posted a picture of a waterfall near Inglis Falls, and I was like, hey, I was up in that area. Here's a waterfall that I took a picture of. But yeah. Any hoozlebees. Yeah, so the Iran-linked hackers have broken into FBI Director Kash Patel's personal email inbox, publishing photographs of the director and other documents to the internet, the hackers and Bureau said on Friday. And if we were anything like the right wing, we would be combing through those and then finding phrases that he uses commonly and figuring out how that could be a code for child sex offense. And the scary thing is, we would be more likely to be correct about that than QAnon was with the Podesta emails.
Mm-hmm.
Because they actually are doing child trafficking shit. Turns out there was a cabal of child raping pedophiles running the government, but it wasn't
They were the Republicans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out it wasn't the Democrats and the Jews. It was the screams were coming from the house.
Mm-hmm.
Screams are coming from inside the house.
Yep. They say we have taken all necessary steps to mitigate potential risks associated with this activity, and the data involved was historical in nature and involves no government information.
Wait, it was his personal email and all the information is historical in nature? Bullshit.
I mean, if I were to give them the benefit of the doubt, it would be like, that's his personal email address that he used before he joined the government and was given his government email address, which he now uses for personal stuff too. Which, that is also not great, but like, that's the only way that statement makes sense to me.
Yeah, fair. At the same time, there's definitely weird shit you're going to find out about his personality in those personal emails.
Yeah, apparently
Sure would be a shame if any of that got published.
They have been publishing it. There's a series of personal photographs of Patel sniffing and smoking cigars, riding in an antique convertible, and making a face while taking a picture of himself in the mirror with a large bottle of rum. None of which seems particularly damning. Like, honestly, I think the video of him drinking half a beer and then shooting it across the locker room with the hockey team is more damning than making a weird face while holding a bottle of rum.
Yeah.
So, like,
man, do you remember when Kavanaugh...
The solution to this being a bad thing for him is for him to just not have any shame, and that does appear to be the case, so...
Do you remember when Kavanaugh was going through his hearings, and he had to explain what a devil's triangle and boofing were?
I don't remember that particular detail. I mostly remember I like beer.
He likes beer. He really likes beer. I remember during that time, fucking Ocean's Kavanaugh impersonation became requested a lot. Anytime that we were on the stream together. You like beer?
Less Than Lucid is asking, what is the likelihood that he's got the same passwords on public and professional accounts? Do you remember when President Trump's President of the United States official government account was hacked because someone tried POTUS 45 or something as the password?
No, I do not.
This was This was his first term.
That is hilarious.
His Twitter got hacked because the person just guessed the password because it was some stupid nonsense that what would Trump choose as a password if we were making a joke about Trump having a bad password? Oh, I'll try that. And that was his password. So
Imagine the incompetence.
we don't
Well, I
have to
can.
imagine it. We're living it every day, Cirrus. It is their incompetence is running the world.
You're not wrong, and I am sad. So congratulations. If your goal was to make me sad, I am.
It's not to make you sad. My goal is to move on to the next news item. So this was also sent to me by E.T. Benson. E.T. Benson was working overtime this week.
A lot of things happened, to be fair.
Yeah. Judge orders White House ballroom construction to halt in a ruling that leaves Trump seething. And by halt, he means halt unless you need to continue doing stuff to make it safe. And also there's a 14-day delay on it because of something or other. And also there's another like court thing that's going through that, or no, it's not a court thing. The reason it's halted is because he needs approval from Congress. But then there's like this other committee that, you know what? It's in the article. Why don't I just read the fucking article?
Mm-hmm.
A federal judge on Tuesday ordered the Trump administration to suspend construction of his $400 million ballroom that it demolished the East Wing of the White House to make space for, barring work from proceeding without congressional approval. He concluded that the National Trust for the Historic Preservation is likely to succeed on the merits of its claims. That's the people suing to get it to stop, because no statute comes close to giving the president the authority he claims to have. I do like that is now a matter of the court record as a judge being like, yeah, the president doesn't have the authority that he claims to have.
I mean, that's literally everything that he's been doing. So here's the thing. Does he have the authority that he claims he has? No. Legally, he doesn't. But the thing is, if he keeps acting like he does, and he keeps operating as if that authority doesn't matter, and he can just do whatever he wants,
him get away with it,
and people keep letting him get away with it, then guess what? He's going to have the authority not de jure, but de facto.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think people might not realize is that it's you can keep wagging your finger at the guy saying you don't have the right to do this, but if he keeps doing it and nothing happens about it, that's no different than him having the right to do it.
Yep.
Like those two things are the same thing.
It's the same picture. Yeah, so the judge's decision came 2 days before the National Capital Planning Commission, the agency that signs off on construction of federal property in the Washington region, is expected to approve the addition. A spokesman for the commission said the judge's ruling does not affect the schedule for Thursday. So I don't know how this ruling is going to affect that. If they approve it, does this now circumvent congressional approval? Like
He doesn't have the authority he says he does.
I don't know. I feel like they're just going to give him the approval, and then Trump's going to continue construction, and then there's going to be another lawsuit. But by the time that lawsuit makes it through the courts, it's going to be progressed even further.
It'll be more days that end in Y, and we will be sad about that, but it will be a thing. Like I don't mean to doomer post on it, but like what should happen is that once Congress flips blue, because we know it's going to flip blue, there's historical precedent for it flipping blue, and it's already in the process of flipping blue. When Congress flips blue, every single thing that Trump has done that required congressional approval that he didn't seek congressional approval for, all of that should be a sea of things he has to wade through for the rest of his time in office. His feet need to be held to the fire every single fucking time, and there can be no breathing room.
Yeah. I really hope that they actually fucking do that.
But you and I both know that reality is infinitely more depressing than we would like it to be.
Yeah. Chuck Schumer is on my list of people that when they die, I will be happy.
Same here. The guy who's like, no, we shouldn't actually advocate for trans rights because we have elections to win, and we should have the slogan, decide to win. Like, no, my guy. You are awful at this.
Isn't he in one of those districts that we were talking about earlier that just nobody opposes him ever, so that's why he can keep winning?
I believe so, but I'm not familiar enough to say that with any amount of expertise or authority.
Someone in Chuck's district has to challenge him. He needs to go. But yeah, no, we got nice pictures of the White House being demolished. It's not so white on the inside. Who knew that who knew that the White House was made out of red bricks? The Canadians, that's who, because we burned that fucker
Because
down.
you burned it down. You know who knows what you're like on the inside? The guy who used a scalpel to cut up your guts. That's the guy who knows what you look like on the inside.
It's just a vivisection. Perfectly routine.
If a black mage from Final Fantasy IX is cutting you open, that is in fact a vivisection.
Okay. But, yeah, okay. Moving on. This news item was updated since it was sent to me. So,
Oh,
E.T.
dear.
Benson sent this to me. Hegseth, and when E.T. Benson sent it to me, the headline was, "The aircrew who flew helicopters near Kid Rock's home were suspended, and there's an investigation. But now that Hegseth has personally weighed in, there is no investigation. They have not been suspended."
Oh, okay.
So,
That's so
there's
happy.
video for this one. So this is, they wasted tax dollars giving Kid Rock a flyby in their Apache helicopters. Reportedly, so this happened on the day of the No Kings protest. And what I saw from people who were on the ground at the No Kings protest, they buzzed the protest before they went up to Kid Rock's place. And so tax dollars have been wasted buzzing protesters with helicopters and then making Kid Rock feel like a Make-A-Wish kid.
He already is a cancer. When you say buzz with a helicopter, define that?
Like flying low over the protest.
Oh, using the helicopter to harass them.
Yes. Anselin says in good news, Representative Sam Graves will not be running for re-election. He's joining the long list of Republicans that are retiring. But, yeah, so there will be no punishment and no investigation after 2 Army military helicopters were flown by Kid Rock's house over the weekend. The Army had suspended the aircrew involved in Saturday's incident, and a U.S. official said earlier Tuesday that Hegseth... Oh, yeah, a U.S. official said earlier Tuesday, but Hegseth announced Tuesday evening that the suspension had been lifted and that no punishment would be forthcoming. No punishment, no investigation. Carry on, patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't this the administration that was supposed to be tackling fraud, waste, and abuse?
It's supposed to be, but you and I both know how that's going to go. And how it's been going.
Okay, Fennec saying Kid Rock sucks as a person, but I don't want him harassed. This was not him being harassed. He enjoyed it. He was having fun with it.
Yeah, he wasn't being harassed.
It was the protesters
He
at the No Kings protest that were being harassed.
Also, I do want him being harassed. Fuck that. I'm sorry. I am willing.
Cirrus does not speak for Vice Rhino Incorporated or whatever the fuck my company's called.
When you become a public figure and you are a public figure of a certain amount of notoriety, you accept that it is part and parcel that your life is going to have this shit happen to you. Kid Rock makes it a point to be a pot stirrer. It has been his claim to fame.
What I'm hearing Cirrus say is it's okay to harass Chapel Roan.
I forget who Chapel Roan is.
She is the lesbian drag queen who she refused to endorse Kamala Harris, and so a bunch of centrist, the enlightened centrist people, I mean, like, why are you refusing to endorse Kamala Harris? Don't you know that Trump is worse? But it's like she made it very explicit that, like, yeah, no, I'm not endorsing her because an endorsement is like my fans, the people who trust me, are now going to trust that I have looked into her and I agree with pretty much everything she's saying. And I don't. I will vote for her because, yes, she is not as bad as Trump, but I'm not endorsing her just because she's not as bad as Trump. That is a very low bar.
Well, let me be a little more clear about my statement. So as not to Mott and Bailey and change my statement to a more defensible one, the nanosecond that Republicans decide that they no longer want to engage in harassment campaigns against literally anybody, then sure, I will change my stance. But until that point comes, I'm perfectly fine with their side being harassed I don't care. I can't care. I don't have the spoons to care.
Yeah. And Dark Falcon for $2 said, all because we showed our disapproval of Trump. Yeah. Also, I was being tongue-in-cheek with my saying that you said it's okay to harass Chapel Roan.
I know.
Okay.
But I'm also going to stand on business and say, no, my thing is, this is a weapon that my enemies are okay using against us. So I believe we should be allowed to use it against them. I don't care.
Well, I mean, there's also looking at, like, what the people stand for. Like, who they are as people. Like, Kid Rock is a piece of shit who wants trans people to not exist. Chapel Roan, she was getting harassment because she refused to endorse someone who was very vocal about wanting to continue the genocide in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, don't harass people for being anti-genocide.
Like when I was talking about the Chicago Bulls guy earlier.
Harass them for being pro-genocide, like the people who want trans people to stop existing.
So, like what I was talking about when I was covering the fucking Chicago Bulls idiot earlier on stream, the content of what you say matters infinitely more than whatever, like, posture that you want to stand on in order to say it. If you want to, sit there and say, like, well, why do they get to say that LGBTQ is okay when that's unrighteous? Understand there's a difference between a person says, I have a right to exist, and you saying, actually, no, God says you should burn in hell. These are different statements, and recognizing the difference in these statements is part of being a functioning adult. If you choose not to recognize the difference in these statements, you are choosing to be a child as a tax-paying adult. What the fuck is wrong with you?
A lot. I do like... okay, so a spokesman for the 101st Airborne Division at Fort Campbell said that the flying helicopters were not related to Nashville's No Kings protests over the weekend and that they were entirely coincidental with the demonstrations.
Yeah. I also have a bridge, and I am willing to sell it to you.
And I do like that the last paragraph of the article feels the need to explain who the fuck Kid Rock is. Kid Rock, who rose to fame in the 1990s and early 2000s with hits including Picture and All Summer Long, has resurfaced in the cultural zeitgeist in recent years after becoming an outspoken supporter of Trump.
Because the way that he has maintained his relevance is through bigotry. It's the same strategy that a bunch of right-wing VTubers have been using. When they don't have the ability to be entertaining at all, they say bigoted, edgy shit. They get a army of incels that love the fact that the bigoted, edgy shit they can't say from their mom's basement is being said by their online waifu. And there they go. He's using the exact same strategy. I don't know who's copying who, but they're all bellends.
Yep. And it's also... I mean, it's a very common career path on the right that if you can't be successful in the thing that you actually want to be successful in, then you just pivot to being a bigot and saying the right-wing talking points and being essentially a tool for them to use, like Riley Gaines.
Yep.
Like
you couldn't win your swimming competition, so...
If you go back in time and actually watch like the interviews with Riley Gaines right after it happened, she was very chill about stuff. She was like, "Yeah, no, I don't like the rules that the swimming competition has, but I got nothing against the person who beat me." I forget who.
And then she got money.
Yeah.
Then she was given money.
Yeah, and then suddenly, what came from I have no grudge against this person, I just don't like how the rules were set up. It went to, oh my god, there was a man in the change room waving his penis around. It's like, no, everybody else, including you earlier, say that that's not what happened. So,
yep.
Yeah, like Kyle Rittenhouse. His job now is to run around and be the guy who killed people at a protest.
Yeah.
That's literally his job.
That is how you know that you're kind of fucking pathetic. Like, the only thing you get to be known for anymore is you're the guy who killed American citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats.
Anyway, that is the last of the news, so let's move on to the tweets.
Oh boy.
Brace yourself, we're starting with Bridget.
Who's that?
Well, actually, this is kind of a fun one. Bridget Gabriel says, businesses in America have never had to board up their windows because of Trump protesters.
So you're probably going to show me an example where that actually did happen and she has egg on her face, correct?
Not quite. Arguably, the thing I'm about to show you is worse. What?
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. There.
I'm fine with Oh yeah, no, January 6th. You're
Yeah.
right.
That's not a business. That's the literal government had to board up their windows.
You right. Why did I think it was going to be anything else?
I thought about searching for a time when businesses had to do it, but I'm like, no, fuck that. I got a worse example.
We just have January 6th as an option that we can fall back on every time. It's right there.
Yeah. It's like anytime you complain about left-wing protesters getting out of hand, like, well, we didn't storm the Capitol. Nobody shat on Mike Johnson's desk.
We didn't say hang Mike Pence.
Okay. Infamous Raiderette says, I wish y'all forced pork on Muslims the way y'all try to force homosexuality acceptance on Christians.
I saw this one. Okay.
Just
Does
like-
she not realize that? What does homosexuality acceptance look like? It looks like people being allowed to live and let live. What does forcing pork down somebody's throat looks like? Abuse. It just looks like abuse.
But also, like, we do force pork on Muslims the way that they try to force homosexuality, or the way that we try to force homosexuality acceptance on Christians.
We don't.
Yeah, in that all like we force pork on Muslims in the sense that they are aware that people who eat pork exist, and they, for like in North America at least, they just leave them alone. They don't get involved. It's got nothing to do with them. That's it. They accept that they exist. They let them eat their pork.
Game over in my chat just said, how dare you not eat my bacon cheeseburgers? Said no one.
I would say that if I made you bacon cheeseburgers and you refused to eat them.
I mean, if you already knew that somebody wasn't going to eat it because of a religious thing.
I was also going to say it depends on whether or not I've fucked up while cooking them. If I think they're good, then yeah, I want you to try them. But if I know that I messed up, then I'm like, okay, yeah, nope, it's fine.
Yep. Also, game over. Thank you for hopping in the chat. How you doing?
It's game over, man.
It's game over. They're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me. Oh
Different
my
movie.
god.
Different movie.
Yeah, but we're doing movie quotes now.
Are we?
I mean, you did. You started.
Nuke it from orbit. Or something. I don't know. My head was already in the Alien franchise.
Well, honestly, the idea of a bug that talks offends me.
I know the quote, but I don't remember where it's from off the top of my head.
Starship Troopers.
I honestly probably could have guessed that. Anyway, next up is Jack Posobiec. Jack, piece of shit. I will ask again, was Ketanji Brown Jackson a legally commissioned Supreme Court justice if the person who appointed her lacked mental capacity?
Oh my fucking god. Then just get rid of everybody Trump appointed.
Well, I like your solution, except for the fact that would allow him to do the next round of appointments because he is still currently president. But my first thought when I saw this was...
He lacks the mental capacity still.
No. My first thought when I saw this was, yes, there's still a justice, because that's what the point of the confirmation process is. It's supposed to be the president says, I think this person would be a good judge. And then Congress has to agree. If Congress doesn't agree, then that person doesn't get to be a judge. So if there was something wrong with Ketanji Brown Jackson and Biden appointed her anyway, because he didn't have the mental capacity to realize there was something wrong with her, it then becomes Congress's job to be like, nope, not this one. But as it turns out, Ketanji Brown Jackson is fucking awesome.
Turns out she's one of the only ones that has a, salient idea of how to handle fucking conversion therapy.
Mm-hmm. Stephen Miller said, birthright citizenship means the children of illegal aliens can vote, tax your children, and seize their inheritance.
Because they're fucking United States citizens. If you start your life in the United States and you've lived your entire life in the United States, I want you to have a say in how the United States is ran. How is that not normal?
Hot take. I think citizenship kind of sucks as a concept. If you are a resident of the country, you should have a say in how that country is run, because you have an invested interest in seeing it run well, because that's where you live.
I can see that perspective. My only,
but my question with regards to the we got a hype train because Kanton gave out 5 community subs. Thank you for that, Kanton. So my question here, though, is birthright citizenship has been a thing for, like, when did the 14th Amendment pass? Late 1800s?
Long enough that nobody alive now has lived in a world where it wasn't the case.
Yeah. So it's been there for that long, and this has not happened. The illegals have not stolen the inheritance of the he means white people, and it's white and brown people when illegals and citizens in his mind.
It always is. It's look,
he's a racist piece of shit. So like the illegals have not done any of this yet in the more than a century that they've been able to do this. So why is it any different now?
Look, it's going to be different. You don't understand. If we give them rights now, it will fuck us over in a way that it didn't fuck us over yesterday when they already had rights perfectly fine. This point is bad, and I should know that because I'm an elected official.
No, he's not.
No, but every fucking Republican that tries to fight against this will be.
Yeah. Yeah. Nancy Mace. This is a fun one. Okay, before we get into Nancy Mace, did you hear about Kristi Noem's husband?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And you know what? I think he should be able to let his freak on the way he does. I don't see anything wrong with that, and yet...
I agree. Representative Nancy Mace says, to anyone celebrating Trans Day of Visibility today, we sincerely hope you get the help you need. And then a couple hours later, the media wants to talk about Brian and Kristi Noem's personal drama and indiscretions. I want to talk about who's getting deported, who got paid, and who's stealing from taxpayers. Different priorities. Let's focus on what matters. So suddenly, gender stuff doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. It matters when she says it matters. It doesn't matter when she doesn't say it matters. Don't you understand? She's actually the person who determines all of that.
Yeah. I understand that they think that.
No, you need to understand that they know that. They're our betters, Rhino. All of them.
Kristi Noem shot a puppy in the face. They're not our betters.
She was doing what had to be done. The Lord spoke through her 9mm.
Her puppy got the zoomies while they were on a hunting trip, so she killed it. No, that's absolutely not.
Don't you understand? Don't you understand? They have Christ in their hearts, and we don't. We are forsaken, Rhino.
Damn straight. Oliver Burdick says, atheists only seem to hate one god. It's like, no,
I don't... man, there's a lot of ways I could tackle this one.
Oh yeah, so many.
Like one angle is, well, I don't really hate God. I don't think he exists, so I don't really spend a whole lot of time hating things that I don't think exist. The other option is, well, yeah, I hate him the same way that I hate any fictional character that does things that I despise. I hate him the same way that I hate Griffin in Berserk. Legendary character that a lot of media can be written about, but holy shit, when you look into the things he's done in his stories, that's not a good person, and I don't want that person alive. Like, there's a lot of ways to tackle this particular one.
Jassa says Griffin did nothing wrong.
He
Also,
raped Casca, you moron! That was
also,
like the big one!
So for me, it's not so much that I hate God, it's that I hate what his representatives are doing.
I don't hate you. I just hate everybody that does things in your name.
Yeah, so whether he's real or not, the people claiming to speak for him are pieces of shit. So if he is real, that doesn't speak very favorably for him.
No, you're right.
Okay, here we go. So this is from the oral arguments. It's like oral sex. So Sauer, the lawyer for Trump's lawyer, essentially. Sauer says
Trump's lawyer, the lawyer for Trump, Trump's lawyer.
Yes, basically.
The poison for Cusco. Cusco's poison.
Yes. So he says, we're in a new world where 8 billion people are one plane ride away from having a child who's a U.S. citizen. Because
that's not a new world. That's the world we've lived in for a very long time.
No, it's not. Cirrus, there's a huge problem with that. In order to have a child who's a U.S. citizen, you first have to have a child. There's a kind of a prerequisite there. So he's saying 8 billion people. So like 8 billion people are 9 months pregnant right now?
You're right. I forgot incels exist.
Yeah.
And they're not really close to having a kid at all.
On top of that, generally speaking, it is my understanding that airliners don't really let you travel on their airplanes when you are like about to burst levels of pregnant. Because they don't want to have to deal with, oh, we're in the middle of the sky with nowhere to land, and this lady went into labor.
Why would you not want to deal with that? That sounds perfectly reasonable.
Wait, dudes can get pregnant? Yes, they can.
Look, actually, you're right. They can. Trans men exist.
Yeah. But I know he's going with the like 8 billion people. It's 8 billion people are all pregnant. No, he said they would have a child who's a U.S. citizen.
Oh my God,
so
8 billion people have been bred, guys.
I mean, that's just nitpicking the language at this point, but why the fuck not? Yeah, he's a big MPreg fan.
Yep, absolutely.
MPreg arguments at the Supreme Court.
Yep. He's like, sir, I need you to verify for me. 8 billion people can get pregnant. That's what your argument is. No? Well, then reframe your fucking argument, you idiot. If that's not your point, then don't word it in a way where that's the only thing we can take from it.
But I mean, on top of that, like, not only do airliners not let people fly when they're super duper pregnant, but you have to get a passport first. And then when you get your passport, you have to get a visa to go into the country. So like Customs and Border Patrol can just be like, no, you're very pregnant. We are not going to let you into the country. Or even like,
we think you're trying to change the election with your soon to be popped out fetus.
Like, I don't know this for sure, but if I had to guess, I would guess that more people on the planet Earth do not have a passport than people who do.
I think that's probably an accurate thing to say.
So
Game Over says he looks like the Waluigi to Jim Carrey.
He does, yes. But
you've heard of Dark Brandon. This is Dark Jim Carrey.
Yeah. But no. So if most people do not have a passport, then they just like it's just not even an option. But also, like, that's a lot of work just to have a kid that's an American citizen, and I don't really know of anybody who actually wants that right now. Like, unless they're coming from somewhere where they would be seeking asylum.
But remember, if they're seeking asylum, that means they're insane. Daddy Trump told me so. The fighter, you're just trying to rig the elections with your fetus.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is 100% what's happening. You don't understand. The only reason to bear children is to fuck with Republicans.
Yep. I mean, they're certainly not good for anything else.
Children, they aren't good for absolutely nothing. I don't know. I tried to make it work. It doesn't.
It did not, no. Too many syllables.
Too many syllables.
Kids. Wah!
There you go.
What are they good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again.
Yeah, that's apparent.
And some of my kids are trans, so I am transparent. That's why you can't see me.
Thank you for the transparency, I guess.
Okay. Ending on a Tim Pool tonight. Says,
oh, no, it's not the good Tim Pool tweet. No.
There's a good Tim Pool tweet?
Not good, but holy shit, he got roasted so hard recently.
I did not see anything.
He made a post saying that children should not be allowed to play trading card games because it's gambling. And he didn't argue that the booster pack buying was gambling.
Yeah,
oh,
I
no,
was
no,
going
no,
to
no.
say, I can see a perspective from which that is accurate.
No, he said that it's gambling to play in tournaments.
Is it?
According to him, because there's an entry fee. That makes it gambling. I'm sorry, but I don't think it's gambling to pay an entry fee for a darts competition. That's not fucking gambling. And likewise, it's not gambling to do it in a card game competition. And if somebody wants to bring the random variance bullshit up as their argument, counter argument, that doesn't fucking matter, because anybody who's decent at trading card games knows that your job as a deck designer is to remove variance as a factor. If you can't do that, you're bad at doing what you're trying to do with your fucking deck.
Oh, look what I found.
Hey, you found it! Yay! Money wagered, card game, cash prizes. Why do states allow children to gamble? You are so fucking dumb.
Is there money wagered there?
No, it's an entry fee. That's not a fucking wager.
Yeah, no, you got... Okay, as someone who... I haven't actually organized anything like this, but, like, I've been on the administrative side of it enough to know that, like, when something like that takes place, it costs the organization that is doing that money. They need to rent the space. They need to rent tables. They might need to rent audio equipment, depending on how big it is, what they're doing or whatever. So, like, it's normal to have an entry fee to help cover the costs. And maybe in this capitalist system that we have, they might want to make some money with it.
Yeah. And, I mean, when we're talking about card games, right, technically speaking, typically, when you are when you're an LGS and you are running a tournament, you run tournaments at a loss. Because the time that people are spending in the chairs at your tournament is time they're not spending money. It's time they're not doing anything there. However, it is time where people will be incentivized to buy product later, to make their deck stronger, shit like that. So you do technically make money that way, but anybody who owns an LGS can tell you that simply having tables available, if they can't convert into people buying stuff, you're operating at a loss all the time. Having a fucking entry fee to cover some of that is perfectly fucking reasonable. Though, typically, for most LGSs, when you have an entry fee, guess what it goes to? The prize pool. It doesn't actually go back into the shop half the time.
That's why it's gambling. Because that's how gambling works. You bet on a horse, and the money that you put in goes to pay out whatever horse won. Right,
but it's all random variance at that point. There's no actual usage of skill. Whereas in a
worked at racetrack service, there are definitely it's a stats game. If you are into the stats, you can actually do decent.
Okay, so everybody who's into the stats always makes money on horse races, except
No,
you know that
not
that's not the fucking
always.
case.
There are people
Like,
who make a living at it.
and that is astounding that that is even possible. But ultimately, that is still gambling,
Yes,
whereas
I know.
a card game competition is skill expression.
My
They're very different things.
my favorite gambling on horses moment. So I worked at the racetrack, and for some reason we were allowed to bet on the horses while we were working. I like that doesn't make sense to me, but like every now and then I'd throw $2 on a horse just for the hell of it or whatever. Like if
Also,
the
Frosty Junie, thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream?
well, we're talking about horse racing and gambling.
Yeah, we're talking about
So-
horses. That means you can't construe anything weird about this conversation at all.
Something about donkey dicks and horse cum.
That's if you want to get biblical, but also just there's a whole anime horse girl game that got really big for a little while, and people are weird, man.
So Jess is asking, didn't the horse with the worst odds win the Kentucky Derby a few years ago? If by a few years you mean like more than a decade, yeah, that might have been one that I was actually working, because we telecast the Kentucky Derby, and I remember seeing a horse that the odds were like 42-1 against, and I was like, I should throw $2 on that just for the hell of it. And but it got busy because it was Derby day, so I never had a chance to go throw my $2 on it, and that fucking horse won. And I remember its name was Old Blue Eyes, and it ended up at the Fort Erie racetrack that I was working at like the year later. And so every now and then when it came up, I'd be like, oh, Old Blue Eyes is there. He won the Derby. I'm going to put $2 on him. He lost every single goddamn time.
Seto Kaiba has entered the chat. How dare you say that Blue Eyes isn't the best?
I was betting on Blue Eyes.
Good man.
I had money invested in Blue Eyes doing better than all the other horses.
Our Lord and Savior Seto Kaiba went back in time and committed suicide just to play a card game with his favorite rival.
Okay.
That he'll never say is his favorite rival.
Okay. But yeah, no, probably my favorite horse race betting one was I put $2 on a horse, and then the jockey fell off the horse right at the beginning of the race. And
Oh, geez.
the horse came in first, but without the jockey, it doesn't count.
That sounds like the kind of thing that you end up like. It's a harebrained thing that you would put on as your bet. I believe the horse will make it to the end, but I don't believe the rider will. What are your odds on that?
I don't think they allow that kind of betting there, but yeah, that would have been a crazy one. No, I was actually so bad at winning on the horses that the joke was that if I ever bet on a horse, everyone else would bet on other horses, because like it could be the best horse with the best odds that has the best track record, and all the indications are showing that one's going to win. So I'm like, I'll put my $2 on it,
therefore...
and it came in dead last. And meanwhile, my coworker, like, I don't believe that luck attaches to people. Like, this person has good luck, that person has bad luck. But my time working at the racetrack almost convinced me of that. Because I had a coworker, she would walk in, she'd walk past the horses on her way in, she'd be like, that horse looked at me, so I'm going to bet on it. And then it would win. Whereas I actually did try to do the thing where I was like looking at the stats and seeing what they do. I didn't get deep enough into it to actually be good at it. But, like, I'd look at the track records that they'd post in the little bulletin or whatever. And, yeah, I would always lose.
Fantastic. Well, the life lesson learned today is when you're trying to bet on somebody, don't bet on Rhino.
No. I wholeheartedly endorse that message.
He'll let you down every single time.
And I'll give you up. Always gonna let you down. Always gonna give you up.
Look, unironically, that song is a banger. The only
is,
reason
yes.
people dislike it is because memes told them to.
I don't know that memes told them to, because I don't recall getting a negative connotation with that song because the memes told me. I think it's more I've heard that song way too many times, and it has the negative association of I got tricked into hearing this song.
Fair.
Because, yeah, it's a good song.
It is.
Anyway, last Tim Pool tweet says, the debate on birthright citizenship is fucking hilarious. Justices be like, yes, this will destroy the fabric of our nation, but it was written down, so whatever. Which...
How is it going to destroy the fabric of our nation when it's been the case for so fucking long?
I know, that's like...
How?
It's not like birthright citizenship is a new thing that is being implemented. It's been there for over 150 years.
This is like, man... Okay, so obviously it's Tim Pool, so it's easy to make fun of him because, like, half of his opinions are dog water, right? But this is the same guy that yelled Civil War over and over and over and over and over and over and over again for 7 years straight, and it still hasn't happened. How can anybody take this dumb shitter seriously?
Because he's got a skate park in his basement.
I have
He wants
an
he wants the
ex-friend
teenagers
who
to
skated
go hang
with
out
Tim
him.
Pool, and that is saddening to me.
Oh, okay. Well,
But this person was also a Steven Crowder fan before the wife abuse stuff came out, so, like, I mean, go figure.
I mean, at least he stopped being a fan when the wife abuse stuff came out.
I don't know if it stopped, but I can hope.
Yeah, well, here's where I'm at with that. When you said Steven Crowder, my first thought was, wasn't he the guy that got shot in the neck?
Charlie, you've got a Kirk in your neck.
I always get those two confused because their shtick is pretty much the same.
It is. It's debate college people on campus and have a boatload of counterpoints to everything the college kid could possibly say before you even step into the conversation, and be media trained enough to humiliate them and have control of the mic. Mm-hmm. Those are the tenets of being any one of those idiots.
Yeah. You also just described Frank Turek.
I have described a lot of people. I've also described Ben Shapiro. Because he's done that.
He's got a bit
he does
more
more
to him
than that.
He's got a bit more to him than that.
He
Not
does
much.
more than that. You're right, but that's also a big part of his shtick too.
Yeah, You'll never
be a big
convince me
shit,
that
too.
you'll never convince me that the wet ass pussy thing was not on purpose.
I'm gonna be drier than a Shapiran bride.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it. Somehow we finished early tonight.
I don't know how with how much I stalled us.
It's because you're just so pretty.
I'll take it.
You're just too pretty.
No, not
This
really.
never
That's why I
happens.
hide behind a cartoon character. At least that's what I see in my comment section.
I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
Frosty Junie, it's been so many months since Charlie said anything racist. I'm so proud of him.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Man, if I believed in a hell, I'd be going to it for laughing at that.
I don't think so.
You think God? You think the God that flooded everything has a sick sense of humor too?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. Game over. I think you'd get grace on that one. That would be some amazing grace, let me tell you.
Amazing grace. Okay. That's the end of the stream. Do you have anything else you want to say? Are you continuing to stream after this?
I actually don't think I am. 4.5 hours, I think, is a pretty good length for stream for me. I got basically everything I wanted to talk about taken care of, and tomorrow we've got to go do electrolysis for Saki. So I've got shit to do in the morning.
Okay. How's your liver?
So actually, the numbers came back for that, and while I'm kind of on the borders for a couple of them, it looks like I'm mostly in the green on everything. So the thing that was throwing it off was being on a lot of acetaminophen. Speaking of which, I'm going to have to go take more of that now, because a side effect of the weight loss medication that I'm on is that I get more headaches and more neck stiffness. So My doctor can say words about me taking painkillers, but like the other medication I'm on forces me to take the painkillers, so it's just gonna have to be that way.
Just switch to opiates.
Boy, howdy, that sounds like a terrible fucking idea.
I mean, if you're going to be on them for the rest of your life anyway.
In the sea of words that I've heard that make me sad, those ones have made me possibly the saddest.
I'm sorry, I did not mean for that. I was just trying to be silly.
Oh no, that's
Try weed.
I'm fucking with you.
Okay.
I am fucking with you. I'm not actually made the saddest because you've made a joke about doing turds.
Okay, well, there was another layer that could have been that I was thinking of. I'm glad it's not. Try weed. It's good for painkillers.
I have taken
I don't know.
it
Oh,
once.
no, you're in Georgia. It's probably not legal there.
I can get things from the...
Yeah, but don't admit to crimes on stream.
Well, no, it's not a crime to go to the fucking edible store that's in business next to my card shop.
Okay.
That's not a crime.
Okay.
I can do... That's where I get the stuff that Saki uses for pain. Like, I could use that. I like having full control over all my faculties, so I'm not really big on taking Durgs.
Okay, well...
Though I also
I can tell
recognize
you.
that... What?
I have not tried marijuana very much, but what the effect it seems to have on me is it just makes my heart beat a little faster, and that's it.
I mean, there was that one time where you took an entire edible when you shouldn't have, and you thought you were going to die lying on the bed.
Yeah, no, but I am not including that in my list of experiences because I know that was an outlier. I'm talking about
a funny outlier.
It is a funny outlier. But I'm talking about normally, like couple puffs, the right amount of edibles with the right amount of time in between taking more, stuff like that. It's like, my heart rate goes up a little, and that's it. So.
Yeah, Tal says watch Project Hail Mary. I probably should. You're not wrong.
Oh, did you not hear about Andy Weir?
Didn't he do a podcast recently with a right-wing nut job?
Yeah, he is an enlightened centrist. So he actively avoids putting politics into his stories.
Uh-huh. Right.
I don't know how he wrote a story whose the central premise of the story is the world came together to solve an existential climate threat. And all the governments of the world funded it fully, but it's not politics. It's not political.
Guys, did you guys know the Metal Gear Solid games are not political at all? The Resident Evil games are also not political at all. No, ignore the plots of the different countries buying weapons that they shouldn't, and the subtext about the nuclear arms race with Russia with at least one of those franchises. Ignore that. None of that happened. No, bad, not political. Get politics out of my video games, Fivehead.
Oh, did you see that? You kind of reminded me. Did you see Oliver North has been making the rounds talking about how Iran shouldn't have the missiles that they have?
No, I haven't.
Do you know who Oliver North is?
Nope.
He's the guy that went to prison in the 80s for illegally selling Iran a bunch of missiles.
Oh, wait, hold on. I do know who he is because there's a clip from American Dad that keeps making the rounds where Stu is going on a huge musical number talking about the true patriot Ollie North.
Jassa says Tetris isn't political at all. Yeah, as long as you don't know anything about the game, correct? But it was very much like there's a lot going on politically that made Tetris what it is. So like it might not be political in the sense that like it's just blocks lining up, but like the fact that it exists is the result of a bunch of political shit.
Guys, I am going to continue stream for a little bit, actually, because We need to play the Ollie North song now.
Okay, you're not doing that on my channel.
Absolutely not. No,
I don't
I'll
like
risk
music.
mine.
I don't like music on my channel.
No,
Okay.
My channel seems to have much better
So-
luck with it than yours.
I will raid you then. So, as always, fuck off.
Yay!